Let's create ourselves a more advanced command. Alright, so I'm sure you guys remember what should be the previous week, if this is scheduled correctly. We went ahead and I showed you how to create an editor script to create your own commands for the command palette. And again, that shortcut is Control-Shift-P. If I'm actually clicked into Godot for a change, Control-Shift-P. And we have all these commands, right? We can come in and we say generate game folders. And we have all these things created here for us. Right? Fantastic. I'm just going to delete those for now. But that's what we did and what we set up last week. Again, hopefully as long as these are scheduled correctly in the right order. So today we're going to go into a little more advanced. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we can create pop-ups when we run our commands. And with that, that'll allow us to add input into our commands. And I'll show you what would be a useful scenario for a reason why you might want to create these commands. So going off of this, I'm going to go ahead and create a new script. This can just be, what do we call it? What do we want to call it? First of all, we're going to extend the editor script. But I'll go ahead and call this, so for the example, we're going to create cards. So I'm going to say card generator. Now, of course, based off of this example, you could use this with any resource. But for this, or card generator, there we go. It's a tool script. It extends the editor script, and we got to go ahead and give it a name. So class name, this will be card generator. There we go. So if we do Control-Shift-P, we take a look, we search card. There's our card generator. It's there. And of course, if we go to execute it, it's going to go through this run function. And well, currently, nothing's going to happen. So the first thing that we want to do is I'm going to show you how we can go ahead and we're going to pop up a window when this command gets run. All right. So for this, we're going to need a window to start off. So I'm going to say var win. This is going to be a window, and of course a window.new. So we have ourselves a window. We need to connect the close signal for when, just in case we want to close out and we change our mind, we don't want to create a card. Maybe we click the wrong command, whatever it is. So we're going to say win.closeRequested.connect. This is going to be a lambda. So if you're unaware of what these are basically just functions without names. So we're going to write the function directly inside here. So func, open close parentheses, colon, and then we're going to hit enter just to drop down. Keep this kind of organized. And as you see, we could just come in and we could write pass, and that error will go away. All right. Now, obviously, when we close it, we don't want to pass. What we want to do is we want to grab our window. So win.queueFree. So we want to free up that window. And if we save that, and if we try to run it, we're still not going to see our window yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually show this on the screen. And in order to do this, we actually need to hook into the editor interface. So we go editor interface dot pop-up dialog, and if you want, you can use pop-up dialog centered. If you use pop-up dialog, you have to pass in a rect 2i. I'm going to use pop-up dialog centered just because, in my opinion, it should pop up on the screen you're using Godot on. And if we just have the pop up in the center anyway, we don't have to deal with figuring out any calculations. So that's just a little less work for us. Not to mention, this only has two arguments. That's just the window, which is win, and then the size. So vector 2i, and I'm just going to go ahead and pass in a small number of 400 by 300. Make sure we save that. Now, if you'll notice, we can open up the palette. We can search card generator, hit enter, and now we have this window. Now, I know it popped over here for you guys. That's not centered for me. That's the center of my monitor, way over here. But you can see we now have this window, which is great. And if we hit the close button, it closes. Fantastic. Right? Everything works so far as intended. Now, this is an empty window. And what you can do is you can go ahead, you can create a scene, and you can instantiate a scene, and you could add that scene as a child to the window if you want to work a little more visually with that. But what I'm going to do myself, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm still inside the run function. And I'm just going to add a text field, which is going to be a line edit, of course. I just went ahead and set the size and the position. And now we need to make sure that we can close this. Sorry, make sure that we make this visible. So we're going to say win.add child. So I'm just going to add my text field. If you were going to instantiate a scene to use here, you could add that scene as the child. Make sure we save, bring up our palette, card generator, enter, and there we go. We have it here. Right, we have our window and we have our line edit that we can type into, do whatever. Of course, nothing's going to happen because all we can do is just type in it for now. So I'm going to close that. And to make this a little more clear, I'm actually going to just add a title real quick to my window. So I'm going to say, just do win.title equals card generator. All right. So before we can make this work, we're going to need, in my case, a template or a resource for my card to generate from. And for that, I've gone ahead and created cardtemplate.gd. This is just a card template class. It has its extending resource, and it just has some simple information. It's got an image, right? That's a texture, a name for the card for a string, description, which is a string. It's got a card attack and a card shield. I don't know why I didn't just say defense, but it is what it is. All right, so I've gone ahead and I just went ahead and just changed the export to an export custom, and just to make it a multi-line text. It's not a big deal, but I just went ahead and did that for the card description. All right, so make sure that's saved. We'll go to my card generator, and we have all this set. And now all we need to do is create the functionality. Now, this is going to be when cards submitted. So this will be when we hit the enter key after typing in whatever we want into the text field. Right? So you can do this before or after you add as a child. Doesn't really matter, but I'm doing it before. It's just personal preference. So I'll take the text field and we'll get the text submitted signal, and we will connect that. And that's going to have a lambda in it as well, which is going to be a function of some sort. And just like before, I'm going to use the enter key and just kind of clean this up a bit to make it easy to read. There we go. Now, text submitted does have an argument, so we have to pass an argument into this lambda. I'm just going to put this as a card. Right, this is a string. This is the new text, right? The text being submitted from the line edit. And what we're going to do, well, what we need to do is we need to close the window. So we're going to do win.queueFree. And then next we need to create this new card. So I'm going to say var new card is a card template. This will be equal to a card template.new. Right. We're going to set the name of the card that we put in there. So that's going to be new card name is equal to card. Remember, card name is a property. Card is the argument being passed in, which is whatever we typed in to the line edit. All right, so now that we have this, all we need to do is save it. So in order to save a resource, we have to use the resource saver.save. And this is going to take some arguments. The first argument is going to be the resource we want to save. So that would be new card. And the second one would be the location that we want to save it at, right? So the path I'm going to put in here is just going to be res://. And this is going to have two placeholders. So I'm just going to do %string. Actually, we don't need to put that in. We can just do %s.tres. And the argument we're going to pass in there is going to be the text we put in, right? So ultimately the card name. So I'm just going to do new card name because that'll be easier. If we ever change the name of this function, we only have to change it in one place here. But there we go. We have that. I'll go ahead and save it. Control Shift P. Card generator, and for this card name, let's go ahead and do let's do demo card, and I'll just hit enter. The window closes. I can see on the left hand side demo card.tres is here. If I open that up, there we go. The name has been added here, and I can do Win Plus just to give you that magnifier. So you can see the card name is here, exactly what we typed in there, demo card. We have a spot for the card image, and because we use that export custom, our card description is this big multi-line setup. So that's why I decided to use that export custom, just so we can get that big field rather than just this small line edit like we have card name. And then of course card attack, we can go ahead and set to whatever we want. If we wanted, again, we can use custom ranges and that to fill in there if we really wanted to put limitations on it. But just for an example, there you go. There's what we have, and of course we can come in. We can use any of our textures, any of our texture types there, or of course we can just drag something in. But you see, now we can just go ahead, Control Shift P, card generator, and just type in a new card. Sure, let's go Dark Magician, enter, boom. Right, now we've got a Dark Magician card here. All right, so there's another way, a little more of an advanced way that you can use these command palettes that allows you to have pop-ups and a useful scenario that you might want to use for your games to easily create these resources for you instead of having to go into your file system, right click, new resource, come in here, type out card template, hit enter, create the file, and then edit it in the inspector. That's a lot more work than just simply running or writing this code one time and then running that command. All right, before I start rambling on, that's it. Take care. Have yourselves a good one. Hopefully you found this useful. And if you find some creative ways to for your own custom commands, go ahead and let me know down below. What are you using these commands for?